On July 30th, 1975, the summer heat in Detroit was heavy and still. In the early afternoon, a familiar figure drove toward the Machis Red Fox restaurant, a small but well-known spot in the suburb of Bloomfield Township. James Riddle, Jimmy Hoffa, once one of the most powerful men in America, had arranged a meeting there. The meeting, according to Hoffa, was with two men, Anthony Tony Jack Giacalone, a Detroit mob captain, and Anthony Tony Pro Provenzano, a powerful New Jersey Teamsters leader with mafia connections. The men never arrived, or so the official story goes. What happened in the following minutes became one of the greatest mysteries in American criminal history. Hoffa wasn't just a union leader, he was a national force. By the 1950s and 60s, as president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, he controlled a labor union with over 2 million members. He negotiated contracts, fought for better wages, and wielded enormous influence over the transportation industry. But Hoffa's rise wasn't built solely on lawful deals and democratic votes. Behind the scenes, he had forged alliances with organized crime families. In exchange for union pension loans and influence, the mob gave him muscle that could organize strikes, intimidate rivals, or solve problems quietly. It worked for years, until it didn't. By the early 1970s, Hoffa had served time in prison for jury tampering and fraud. While he was behind bars, the mafia-backed Frank Fitzsimmons took over as Teamsters president. The mob liked Fitzsimmons. He was pliable, cooperative. Hoffa, however, wanted his old position back, and he wasn't quiet about it. His feud with Tony Provenzano was no secret. Their meetings often ended in threats. The FBI later learned that Tony Pro had allegedly threatened to kill Hoffa over a personal dispute dating back years. Still, Hoffa insisted on meeting him and Giacalone on July 30th, 1975, to discuss union business. Hoffa arrived at the Machis Red Fox around 2:15 p.m. He was seen pacing outside, glancing at his watch, clearly irritated. Around 2:45, witnesses recall him speaking to someone, possibly in a car, before stepping toward it. That was the last confirmed sighting of him alive. Hours later, his green 1974 Pontiac Granville was found in the parking lot of the nearby Red Fox Inn. His keys, wallet, and personal items were inside. No signs of struggle. No witnesses reported an abduction. The FBI mobilized quickly. Given Hoffa's history, investigators suspected organized crime almost immediately. Search warrants were executed in Detroit, New Jersey, and even in mob-connected properties in other states. Dogs searched forests, lakes were dragged, dozens of informants were questioned, but the mafia's code of silence, omerta, held strong. One theory claimed that Hoffa had been lured into a car under the pretense of the meeting, then driven to a nearby house owned by mafia associate Anthony Giacalone's brother. There, he was allegedly killed within minutes, his body disposed of before sunset. Over the decades, theories have multiplied. The mob hit. The most widely accepted theory is that the mafia killed Hoffa to prevent him from regaining power and disrupting their control over the Teamsters' pension funds. Buried under Giants Stadium, a persistent urban legend claimed his body was buried under the concrete of the now demolished New Jersey Stadium. The FBI found no evidence. Cremation at a Detroit funeral home. Some believe Hoffa's body was taken to a mob-controlled funeral home and burned in its crematorium. Dismemberment and disposal. Other accounts suggest he was cut into pieces and dumped into the Great Lakes or an industrial incinerator. With no body, no definitive crime scene, and no confession, the case grew cold. In 1982, 7 years after his disappearance, a Michigan court officially declared Hoffa dead. The FBI closed the case in 2017, calling it the most investigated missing persons case in American history. Yet the truth remains elusive. No one has ever been charged with Hoffa's murder. Those who might have known the details are either dead or sworn to silence. Today, nearly 50 years later, Jimmy Hoffa's disappearance is more than a cold case. It's a cultural legend, the perfect storm of power, crime, betrayal, and unanswered questions. His name lives on not just in Union history, but in books, films, and the whispered conversations of those who still wonder, who killed Jimmy Hoffa, and where is his body now?